it is time to step into the most heavily regulated battlefield of colonial life. And believe it or not, this is romance. Now, let me tell you, as a lady, nothing says passion like legal framework. Oh, God, come on. Give me that document to sign. Let's go on a date. And that's exactly what people were doing. I am not kidding you. In colonial America, courtship was not a private affair, it was a community project. In many colonies, couples were expected to make a public declaration of intent before marriage, which honestly, I mean, hello, where do you see this going? The announcements were often read aloud in church on multiple Sundays. They were not at all romantic, they were very much procedural. The goal was to invite objections from the public. If anyone knew a reason why this match should not happen, this was their moment. And we still do that to some extent, but I have personally never been to a wedding where they say, "Speak now, forever hold your peace," and anybody says anything. That would be crazy, but this was the time to do it. So they would read this aloud, and if you thought that is not a good pairing, you better get up there and say something, Johnny. You better say something. Now, on top of this, parental consent was not a courtesy, it was a law, because marrying without the approval of a legal guardian or parent could invalidate a union, or it could trigger legal consequences, especially for women. Go women, I love us. Love without permission. This was not seen as just a rebellious teenager and, what has that girl got up to now? It was very reckless. Families were the economic units, and marriage rearranged property, labor, and alliances. So, dating as we know it, just for fun, talking, see how it goes, see where it goes, this did not exist. It was still very tactical. Marriage was still very much a business deal at this point, with a lot of legal jargon and documents to be signed. Now, on top of this, courtship was heavily scrutinized. It was very scheduled. It was supervised, of course, because time alone was entirely limited if you even got any. The doors stayed open. Night visits were often forbidden, absolutely unacceptable, unless they followed the oddly named but very real practice of bundling, which involved sharing a bed fully clothed and separated by boards or blankets. So it's like, what's the point? I'm just going to go home. Why would we share a bed? I don't see the point in that, but I don't know. Super romantic, right? I don't know. But very controlled, absolutely. That was the whole point. And I'm going to tell you too that that same impulse to oversee affection extended into literally every single detail of daily life. Now we're going to have to talk about the Sabbath, because Sabbath laws were among the strictest of them all, because Sundays were not just, hey, we're going to get up, we're going to go to church days. These were days that were enforced with strict seriousness. There were no games to be played. There was no unnecessary travel. I mean, seriously, you're not going anywhere. There was no cooking elaborate meals. There was no laughing too loudly or skipping services, because all of these things could earn you some major and very serious fines, and you were going to have to pay those. You're going to get ostracized if you don't. That's why you had to pay them. And that's why I'm like, just don't pay them. But you could land yourself in a whole world of trouble if you get in trouble and you don't adhere to the punishments enforced. I mean, they were not playing around these days.